I told you before to watch out with inspirational videos and memes online. Now I want to go further. I want you to be alert about those life coaches that you encounter online. In the previous decades, people used to listen to life coaches on TV. Oprah, Dr. Phil, those are just two. On national levels encounters, you have many of them, and in the international sphere, you have some elites of them. Now we know they are mainstream media, so of course there's an agenda behind it. But today, there's the internet, there's YouTube, there is um, Daily Motion. You have all those video platforms, and there are life coaches there that give you life lessons, how to deal with friendships, how to deal with relationships, how to deal with sexuality. And there are life coaches that come in the name of Christ. They're part of some ministry. So you think, oh, they are after the Lord, so then it's fine. I'm telling you, beware of adhering to life coaches that you encounter online. Online, I mean. Are those life coaches in line with Christ? If they're not, the information they give to you may be practical, may be factual, but still put it in context. Look, I'm not telling you not to listen to any inspirational video or any life coach online, because such people, they can have valuable things to say. I have to admit that they often have valuable things to say, but always put things in perspective. Look at the bigger picture of what they're saying. Because if they are used by demonic spirits to deceive others, they're not aware of it themselves. But the deception is still working out. That's how demons do. They use people who are unaware they're being used to deceive others. Look, the reason I'm warning you for this is because fortune telling will destroy you. I've said it often not to go to fortune tellers. But here's the thing, fortune tellers today, they come to you instead of them waiting on you to come to them. You still have those fortune tellers who have their shops where people go there to get hand readings or to read tarot cards or to so that people can look into their fortune. You still have those. You will always have those until Christ returns. But fortune tellers today, they use mainstream media and especially social media to reach people. Yes, fortune tellers are kind of evangelizing, but they're not evangelizing the gospel. They're evangelizing a false gospel. And many of those so-called online ministries are conducting fortune telling, but they call it prophecy. They use Bible verses. I'm telling you, fortune telling will destroy you. There's one reason why fortune telling destroys you. Because fortune telling builds up your unbelief. Fortune telling strengthens your unbelief. Fortune telling does not lead you to rely on Christ so that you will walk in His power. Fortune telling pushes you away to rely on your own strength, to rely upon your own thinking, upon your own abilities. So fortune telling pushes you away from agreeing with Christ. And the more you rely on your own strength and your own abilities, the more tired you'll become, the more frustrated you'll become eventually, and the quicker you will collapse. And the relationships you've built while listening to fortune telling. Fortune telling, it works, but works against you in the long run. I know that if you saw some fortune telling in the streets begging for customers, you would walk by saying, I'm not doing that. But let's say that let's say you're on YouTube and you follow 2 or 3 life coaches and they're telling you how to deal with stuff. But what if those people are consulted by familiar spirits? Then you really are having a fortune teller using knowledge of evil spirits to tell the people. But the familiar spirits give them common struggles people are struggling with, and now they talk about those things and how people can deal with them. And some of those life coaches you can contact them directly and they will give you advice. There is no language of the spiritual, no spirits are mentioned, so you think, well, it's all right, it's just a life coach. No, you don't know what they're dealing with behind the scenes. Look, I'm not telling you to become suspicious and antagonistic and paranoid. Of course not. I'm just telling you to be alert. Beware who you're listening to so you won't unknowingly fall in fortune telling. People want security, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with looking up information, whether it's online or in the library or in a group, in a meeting of people. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to know how things work. There's nothing wrong with wanting to know the opinions of people that are an expert in something that's important to you. But it goes too far to rely completely on your own strength to fix things. And that is what fortune telling does. Fortune telling pushes you to fix things. And in order for you to fix things, you need empowerment. So telling will lead you to the paranormal to get empowerment over there. You see how it works? Okay, let me give an example here. Let's say your name is Suzanne. I'm using a female example now. And you, Suzanne, you've been with this guy for over a year. You plan to marry, but still you feel awkward somewhere. So you go online and you find this article about relationship problems, and you decide to read it. And after a week, you find a YouTube channel of this middle-aged woman that gives relationship advice, dating advice, advice. She's a marriage counselor. So you watch her videos and you begin to use her tricks that she teaches her people in how to relate to your fiance. And it works well. It works so well that you totally forgot that it was that YouTube channel you watched that taught you all of it. So after a while, you don't even watch that YouTube channel anymore. You learned what you needed to learn and now you're practicing it. But let's say now that, let's say 5 or 6 years later, you are in a home shelter because your husband lost it and he took out his rage physically on you. And you were so shocked you didn't know what to do. So you told a friend about it, and after the third time, you went to a home shelter. Now, what has happened here? 6 or 7 years ago, when you had that awkward feeling, that was a warning signal from you, from your spirit, because you are a spirit being as you being. You in in you there is this inner alarm, and your inner alarm went off that something was off. But you relied on what experts said, and what experts told you was factual, but it wasn't factual for you. It was factual in the sense that what they told you worked when you practiced it, but it was not practical for you because you addressed the wrong issue. The distress you felt disappeared because the relationship flourished after you practiced the tricks that YouTube channel taught you. But the reason why you had that awkward feeling is because there was something wrong with that guy you were with. But because you were so-called in love, and because you really wanted things to work, you relied on your own understanding and you want to increase your understanding so that you could fix things. Because of this, you lost perspective. You didn't look at the bigger picture. And because what you've been taught worked, you didn't notice it in alarm anymore. And that's how eventually you crashed. And now you are in a home shelter. Now you're asking for a divorce. Now you need to go through all of that. And you also have a child with the guy. So now you have to deal with co-parenting with a malignant narcissist. But so here's the thing. That YouTube channel you found of that marriage counselor, that middle-aged woman that was giving advice on many things, she was a witch. She was a fortune teller. And the demons know that at the time, the demons knew that women like you are out there who don't know how to interpret warning signals. So the demons gave out tricks through their puppets and how women like you could manage the men they feel comfortable with, even though those are men that are in relationships with. And you found one of those puppets, you weren't aware it was a puppet, and you listened to her, but by listening to her, you received fortune telling. You were ministered by a fortune teller, so you agreed with fortune telling. And now you practice fortune telling and it worked, but in the long run, it worked against you. You get what I'm saying here? Fortune telling will destroy you in the long run. Today, fortune tellers reach out instead of staying somewhere and waiting people to come. There will always be people that will go to fortune tellers and look them up in the physical. But there are fortune tellers that use online platforms to reach people. Look, I always tell people to agree with Christ. Yes, I can pray for you, I can speak the good into your life and all of that, but I want you to agree with Christ because in Him there's power. And I'd rather have you agree with Him and to speak life on your own behalf. I don't want anyone to be dependent on me. Absolutely not. Be dependent on Christ because He's the Lord. He's the man. Okay? Again, beware of adhering to life coaches, whether they are online or just on TV or out there. You don't know what they are involved with. Sometimes you can see it because they use their pagan symbols all the time. Sometimes even say that they're witches or mediums, but often they don't. I'm telling you, fortune telling will destroy you. So agree with Christ and be at peace.